Friends, many times people tell you to work smart, and sometimes we believe that working hard will give us the success. This fight is constant between hard work and smart work. In today's video, we're going to put an end to that confusion. We're going to discover which type is the best. Hey folks, welcome to CSKSpeaks. I am CSK and I'm an educator. It is story time, for I'm going to tell you a story where we can drive home the point that what kind of work is better. Because we have heard this debate over and over again that hard work is better than smart work, and sometimes, or the modern times, talk about smart work being better than hard work. What's your answer? Before even we get started with the story, why don't you pause this video for a second and put in your answer in the comment, so that once we hear the story, once we change our perspective, let's see if that answer remains still valid at the end of the story. Alright, to this story, you need to bring back memories from the Titanic. Yes, that famous movie which we all have watched and heard about over and over again is the image which I want you to carry as I narrate this story. So when you imagine a Titanic, a ship of a high magnitude, you can imagine the fun, the dance, the music, the swimming pools, and also all the entertainment zones and people enjoying at their favorite restaurants and all of that, right? Multi-cuisines and all that. This was a ship of that magnitude. So this ship set sail with 2,000 people on its board. So on board, 2,000 people were traveling towards their dream destination, and everything was fun. Everything was superb on top of the ship, the cruise ship, right? Now, as they were going on that particular fortunate or misfortunate day, one of the engines among the 4 engines broke down. The captain of the ship immediately realized that the engine went down, and he mustered his engineers to that spot. He asked them to look into it and set it all right before it is too late. While all this was going on, everything was normal on the surface. People didn't have a clue, an inkling about this, and everybody were enjoying their time on the ship. 4.5 hours passed. 4.5 hours later, the head of the engineers team came up to the captain and said in a disappointed tone, "Well, we tried everything. We're not able to figure out what's wrong with this engine." Now the captain started to get panicky. He immediately called the owner of the ship, informed him about this particular disaster, and then the worst began to unfold. As the captain expected, the load on the other 3 engines was more, and now suddenly another engine started to give up. Now there were only 2 engines of the 4 which were actually working. Captain and the owner didn't know what to do, because the engineering team gave up, and they said that we don't know what's going wrong. Everything looks perfect from the outside. We tried all combinations of repair, but nothing seems to work. Now they were starting to imagine the worst. If another engine fails, then the ship will lose its balance and it might even sink. Sink, costing the lives of 2,000 people on board, plus the damage to the reputation and all of that to follow. The owner of the ship was not a man to delay things. He started seeking help outside. He made a few phone calls, and then somebody told him that one of the most respectable and reputed engineer, a mechanic of the ship, resided exactly 100 nautical miles from their current location. So the owner and the captain comes up with a strategy. And that strategy was to slow down the speed of the ship so that the load on the engine is reduced, and then arrange a fast speed boat for that engineer to come up to this particular ship and set it all right while it is still in control. So the owner connects to that engineer who's around 100 nautical miles away from the place and arranges for him to get onto the speedboat and come to this particular ship. In a matter of 90 minutes, that engineer arrives on board. He hears everything, he understands the scenario, and then he tells everybody, including the owner and the captain and the engineers, to wait outside, and he walks alone inside that engine room. He sits there silently, observing the engine, hearing to the noise, hearing to that particular engine's performance, the load and all of that. After a few minutes, he comes out, calls the engineers and the owner and takes them in. He pulls out his toolkit, takes out a hammer, and then moves around that particular engine, engine number 1, the one engine which actually broke down first, and then hits hard on one particular spot at the engine. Within a few minutes, that engine makes a big noise and then restarts so that it takes full control, and before anybody could realize, that engine is perfectly working. And the remaining team of engineers plunged to action to set the other engine number 2, which was just breaking down because of a heavy workload, and that engine came back to life. Now in 45 minutes time, all the 4 engines are working perfectly. Everybody is relieved, the captain is jubilant, the owner is expressing his joy and happiness, and finally, after all the work, they all head back to their respective stations. This time, the engineer, the man who came out, the chief engineer or the head who came from outside, he stops the owner and says, "Well, my job here is done. Let me go. And before I go, here is the bill. Here is the bill." So the owner asks him that, "Okay, please let me know what is the amount and I shall make the payment." So the chief mechanic said, "Well, it is 2 lakhs. It is 2 lakh rupees." The owner was surprised to get that quote. He said, "What? You came in, all you did was to hit that piece of metal on the engine and you charge me 2 lakhs for that? How is that fair?" "Well, all right, I see that you want that money. Why don't you give me a breakup of what all went inside and what all did you do to repair my engine so that I can explain to my people before I make the payment to you?" The engineer laughs. He laughs and says, "Well, okay, you want an explanation? Let me give you an explanation." He takes that piece of paper, turns it around and writes, "Hitting that part on the engine, 2,000 rupees. Knowing where to hit, exactly 1,98,000 rupees." And he gives the paper back to the owner and says, "You wanted a breakup? Here is my breakup." The owner is amused. He says, "What? Knowing where to hit 1,98,000 and hitting 2,000 rupees?" He said, "Yes. That hitting part is the hard work. Anybody could have done it. Anybody could have done it. Any of your engineers could have done it. You could have done it. And I'm sure before even I came, they would have done it. But knowing where to hit is the smarter part of it. I knew it and it worked. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. You can see the engine working absolutely fine. And even better is I got to do it well before the damage was more. I could contain the damage." When he said all this, other team of engineers and the captain couldn't help but nod. and they understood the gravity of the situation, and now the owner was helpless or in a place where he could not return. He had to pay him 2 lakhs and send him off. Now this story you must have heard in many other forms, but the moral of the story is the difference between hard work and smart work. All of us know that hard work is important, but many of us do not understand the relevance of smart work. You're all managers, you're all leaders, you're all people who guide, who are in positions of power and authority and positions where you need to guide and lead and direct people. And when we are in the position to guide and lead and direct people, we need to understand this formula. And the formula is simple. Hard work plus smart work is equal to success. I repeat that for you. Hard work plus smart work is equal to success. While we are talking about hard work and smart work, let me give you a few features of hard work and smart work so that you can distinguish between the two, because the line is quite thin, but once you are able to distinguish, it will help you, because the combination of the two is what will take you towards success, right? Hard work is doing the job. Smart work is getting the job done. This is where the problem is. We all think we don't want to delegate to people because they don't get the way we want them to do. It's better, rather than explaining them 100 times, it's better to do their job ourselves. That's not smart work. That is hard work. You want to become a leader? You want to grow more? You want to achieve more? You want to magnify your success? Learn to delegate. Learn to have the combination of both hard work and smart work. You need to do the work, no doubt about it, but you need to do the work of telling them how to do it and then get the work done. So that's the one thing. Second, hard work is no value addition, just doing the mundane job. Smart work is adding value at the end of it. That is smart work. So thinking from the other person's perspective and then giving them value is smart work. Hard work is you tell the person to move the box from A place to B place, he will do it. But when he is moving the box, is he thinking that in case of rain, will this box get affected? Shall I cover it? Shall I keep it in a spot where it will not get affected? That is smart work, right? That is value addition. So hard work, smart work. Then hard work is just mere quantity over quality. Smart work is quantity with quality. I think this is self-explanatory. Hard work is a direct and linear approach where, okay, it's A plus B is equal to C. It's as direct as that. It's step-by-step approach. Smart work is flexible and creative approach. Think about flexibility. Think about creative approach. Now, last but not the least, hard work is working for long and unlimited time. So you might have seen people, you give them a job, they will go on and do it till the job is done. So what defines them? Completion is the job's status. Smart work is working short and limited and increasing your efficiency and effectiveness. So you got 30 minutes and in 30 minutes you got to do it. That is smart work. So I've given you broad distinctions, I've also given you a formula, and I've given you a story which can help you remember the distinction between hard work and smart work. Remember, knowing where to hit, 1,98,000. Hitting it, 2,000. Thank you very much.